happiness. It's a term that's widely used, but rarely fully understood. We all strive for it, and many of us spend much of our lives searching for ways to become happier. But what does science say about happiness? Is it something we can achieve through external factors, or is it an internal process we can control? In recent years, researchers in the field of positive psychology have explored what makes us happy and how we can cultivate it. The surprising answer? Happiness is not just a fleeting feeling, it's a skill that can be developed through specific habits and practices. Psychologist Sonia Lyubomirsky, a leading figure in the study of happiness, breaks down the components of happiness into three categories. 50% of happiness comes from our genetics, 10% from our life circumstances, and a whopping 40% comes from our intentional activities, the things we do every day. This means that while we can't change our genetic makeup or some of the circumstances in our lives, we have significant control over a large part of our happiness. This realization gives us power. It's crucial to note that happiness is not the same as mere pleasure. Pleasure, such as the temporary enjoyment of food, entertainment, or other external stimuli, is short-lived. Happiness, on the other hand, is more enduring and deeply tied to our thoughts, behaviors, and emotional resilience. Happiness is about long-term well-being, not just momentary satisfaction. In fact, happiness has a direct connection to both mental and physical health. Research shows that happier people tend to live longer, experience less chronic stress, and have stronger immune systems. They are less prone to anxiety and depression and tend to be more optimistic and resilient in the face of challenges. So, the question arises, how can we cultivate happiness in our own lives? Well, the science of happiness points to several evidence-based practices that we can integrate into our routines to increase our well-being. And the best part? These practices can be simple to implement and don't require major life changes. One of the most powerful tools for enhancing happiness is focusing on the present moment. We often chase happiness through the pursuit of future goals or by reflecting on the past, but the most profound source of happiness lies in fully experiencing the present. In fact, a study published in Psychological Science revealed that people who are more present in their everyday activities reported higher levels of happiness than those who are constantly distracted or preoccupied. The science of happiness also emphasizes the importance of cultivating positive emotions. According to Dr. Barbara Fredrickson, a psychologist known for her work on positive emotions broaden our thinking and build our resilience. Her broaden and build theory suggests that positive emotions like joy, gratitude, and love help us build psychological resources that we can draw upon in times of adversity. But how do we achieve this positivity? How do we cultivate positive emotions and broaden our emotional mindset? It starts with small, intentional actions that we can incorporate into our daily lives. Simple practices such as expressing gratitude, engaging in physical activity, and fostering social connection have been shown to increase happiness and overall life satisfaction. Another key factor in the science of happiness is the role of personal values. According to the self-determination theory developed by Deci and Ryan, we are happiest when we engage in activities that align with our intrinsic values, those things that give us a sense of purpose and meaning. When our actions are guided by these internal values, we experience a deep sense of satisfaction and fulfillment that far surpasses the temporary satisfaction of external rewards, like wealth or material possessions. For example, when we focus on personal growth, creativity, or helping others, we activate deeper, more enduring sources of happiness. These activities fulfill our basic psychological needs for autonomy, competence, and relatedness, which are essential to our overall well-being. Studies show that people who engage in meaningful activities, whether it's volunteering, pursuing a creative passion, or learning new skills, experience higher levels of life satisfaction. So, how can we put these ideas into practice? The first step is awareness. Recognizing that we have control over 40% of our happiness gives us the opportunity to take charge of our lives and actively choose the habits and activities that will bring us more joy and fulfillment. The second step is consistency. The more we practice these happiness-building habits, the more ingrained they become in our lives. Over time, these actions will lead to lasting changes in how we experience the world around us. Happiness is not something that happens to us. It's something we can create through our intentional actions and mindset. But before we dive deeper into specific strategies, let's explore some common myths about happiness that might be holding us back from truly experiencing joy. One of the most scientifically backed strategies for increasing happiness is the practice of gratitude. It may sound simple, but research shows that gratitude can significantly enhance our well-being and contribute to long-lasting happiness. In fact, studies show that people who regularly practice gratitude experience more positive emotions, better physical health, and stronger relationships. The idea is simple. By regularly reflecting on and expressing gratitude, we shift our focus from what we lack to what we already have. This shift in mindset helps us develop a more positive outlook on life, which in turn leads to greater happiness. Psychologist Robert Emmons, one of the leading researchers in the field of gratitude, has conducted numerous studies that highlight the benefits of keeping a gratitude journal. In one of his studies, participants who wrote down 3 things they were grateful for each day for just 10 weeks reported higher levels of well-being and more positive emotions than those who did not practice gratitude. The effect was so profound that those who practiced gratitude were more likely to exercise, report better sleep, and feel less depressed. But why does gratitude have such a powerful impact on our happiness? The science behind gratitude is rooted in the brain's neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new neural connections and strengthen pathways related to positive emotions. When we focus on gratitude, we activate the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine and serotonin, 2 chemicals that are closely associated with feelings of happiness and pleasure. Gratitude also helps combat negative thinking patterns. When we focus on what we are grateful for, we become less likely to dwell on negative thoughts or ruminate on problems. Instead, we train our brains to look for the positive aspects of life, even in difficult situations. This shift in perspective is powerful because it helps us build resilience, enabling us to better cope with challenges and setbacks. One of the most compelling aspects of gratitude is that it doesn't require any special resources or circumstances. You don't need to wait for a big event or milestone to feel grateful. In fact, research shows that even small expressions of gratitude can have a significant impact on our happiness. It could be something as simple as appreciating the beauty of nature, recognizing the kindness of a friend, or acknowledging your own achievements. Incorporating gratitude into your daily life is easy and doesn't require much time or effort. Here are some practical ways to practice gratitude. Gratitude journaling. Take a few minutes each day to write down 3 things you are grateful for. These can be small or big things, from a delicious meal to the support of a loved one. The key is consistency. Doing this regularly will train your brain to focus on the positive aspects of life. Express your gratitude. Don't just keep your gratitude to yourself. Share it with others. Take the time to thank people who have made a positive impact in your life. Whether it's sending a thank you note or telling someone in person, expressing gratitude strengthens relationships and boosts happiness. Gratitude reminders. Set daily reminders to pause and reflect on what you are grateful for. This could be a simple note on your phone, a sticky note on your desk, or a reminder in your calendar. These small nudges will help you stay mindful of the good things in your life. Gratitude meditation. Meditation is a powerful tool for enhancing mindfulness and cultivating gratitude. Take a few minutes each day to meditate and focus on the things you are thankful for. This practice helps calm the mind, reduce stress, and foster a sense of inner peace. In addition to these practices, it's important to remember that gratitude is not just about acknowledging the good things in life. It's also about cultivating a mindset of abundance. Many people fall into the trap of constantly seeking more, believing that happiness will come once they have more money, success, or possessions. However, research shows that people who practice gratitude focus on what they already have rather than what they lack. By recognizing the abundance in our lives, we can start to feel more content and less driven by the desire for more. This sense of abundance can create a lasting sense of happiness and fulfillment that doesn't depend on external circumstances. Gratitude also plays a key role in building stronger social connections. According to a study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, expressing gratitude toward others strengthens relationships and promotes pro-social behavior. When we express our appreciation for others, we deepen our emotional connections and increase our sense of belonging. Moreover, the practice of gratitude can reduce stress and anxiety. A study published in Psychology Science found that people who practiced gratitude reported lower levels of stress and were more likely to experience positive emotions during stressful situations. This is because gratitude helps shift our focus away from the stressor and onto the positive aspects of our lives, creating a buffer against the negative impact of stress. So, what's the takeaway from all this? Gratitude is a simple but incredibly powerful tool for increasing happiness. By making gratitude a regular part of your life, you can rewire your brain for positivity, strengthen your relationships, and build a more resilient mindset. The best part? It doesn't cost anything and takes very little time, but its effects can be profound and lasting. When it comes to happiness, our social connections play a critical role. In fact, research consistently shows that strong, positive relationships are one of the most significant predictors of happiness and well-being. It turns out that no amount of wealth, fame, or success can replace the value of meaningful social interactions. But why are relationships so important for our happiness? The answer lies in the way our brains respond to social interactions. When we connect with others, especially especially those we care about, our brains release oxytocin, the feel-good hormone. Oxytocin is known for its role in bonding and trust, and it helps foster feelings of warmth, connection, and emotional security. These positive emotions are deeply linked to happiness. According to the Harvard study of adult development, which has been following a group of men for over 80 years, the quality of our relationships is a better predictor of happiness and health than money, fame, or even physical health. In fact, the study found that those with strong social connection had lower rates of depression, less anxiety, and better overall health. The researchers concluded that the key to a happy and long life is not just wealth or success, but the strength of our relationships. But it's not just about the quantity of social connections. The quality matters too. Having a few close, supportive relationships is far more beneficial than having a large number of superficial connections. Research has shown that people who have deep, trusting relationships with family, friends, or romantic partners tend to be happier and experience greater life satisfaction. These relationships provide us with emotional support, help us navigate life's challenges, and offer a sense of belonging. Moreover, positive social connections can help us cope with stress and adversity. In times of difficulty, the support of loved ones can provide comfort and reassurance. The mere presence of supportive friends or family members can reduce the perception of stress and buffer against the negative effects of challenging situations. In a study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, participants who had strong social support were better able to cope with stressful events and had lower levels of stress-related hormones, such as cortisol. But how can we foster these meaningful relationships in our own lives? The key is to invest time and effort in building and maintaining connections with others. Here are some strategies to strengthen your social relationships and enhance your happiness. Make time for others. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to let our social lives slip to the bottom of the priority list. But research shows that people who prioritize their relationships are happier and healthier. Make a conscious effort to spend time with loved ones, whether it's through regular phone calls, weekend outings, or simply sharing a meal together. The more time you spend with those who matter, the stronger your bond will become. Be present. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to be physically present, but mentally absent during social interactions. To deepen your connections with others, practice being fully present in the moment. Put away your phone, make eye contact, and actively listen when others speak. This level of attentiveness shows that you value and care for the person, which strengthens the relationship. Practice empathy. One of the most powerful ways to build stronger connections is by practicing empathy. This means not only understanding others' feelings, but also being able to share in their joy, sadness, or struggles. Empathy creates emotional bonds that make relationships more fulfilling and rewarding. Whether it's celebrating a friend's success or offering support during tough times, showing empathy helps you build trust and deepen your connections. Be generous with your time and attention. True connections are built on mutual care and attention. Make an effort to show kindness and be there for others when they need support. Offering help, listening without judgment, or simply being a source of encouragement can go a long way in nurturing meaningful relationships. This generosity also helps strengthen the bond between you and others. making your connections more resilient over time. Join communities. Another way to foster social connections is by joining groups or communities that align with your interests. Whether it's a sports team, a book club, or a volunteer organization, being part of a group allows you to meet like-minded individuals and form new friendships. Shared activities provide common ground for building connections, which can enhance your social network and, in turn, your happiness. The benefits of strong social connection extend beyond emotional support. They also promote physical health. Studies show that people with strong social ties have lower blood pressure, better immune function, and a reduced risk of chronic diseases. In fact, the American Journal of Epidemiology published a study showing that social isolation is as harmful to our health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Strong relationships not only protect our mental health, but also support our physical well-being. Interestingly, the act of helping others, whether through volunteering, providing emotional support, or simply being there for someone in need, can also boost our own happiness. A study published in the Journal of Social Psychology found that people who engage in acts of kindness report higher levels of life satisfaction and greater happiness. Helping others creates a sense of purpose and fulfillment, which contributes to our own well-being. In summary, social connections are a cornerstone of happiness. They not only provide emotional support and increase positive feelings, but also protect our mental and physical health. By investing in meaningful relationships and making a conscious effort to connect with others, we can enhance our happiness and overall well-being.